Kingdom. Let's get into the game. Spawning here in the top right position, representing Team Dignitas, the winner, the champion of I-46, now trying to get that sponsored invite to I-47. Will he be able to do it? Ladies and gentlemen, we have JonnyREcco. His opponent, spawning in the bottom left position. There was a bit of delay because his internet cut out, but it wasn't a problem because he waved his magic wand and sorted some internets out. Ladies and gentlemen, from Western Wolves, the WCS UK champion, we have Ziktomini. So I don't actually know if there are any, like, popular nicknames for JonnyREcco, actually. I know that Ziktomini is the Wizard Zerg because he has a wizard's beard and he's friggin' awesome. I think JonnyREcco, since he joined Dignitas, might be DJREcco, which is pretty cool, but doesn't really qualify as like an affectionate nickname. Wizard Zerg, on the other hand, is just frickin' amazing. Let's see what spells he will be able to cast in this ZVZ. Bonus points for anything that isn't fungal growth, because that's way too predictable. Let's see if we come up with something interesting here, as both sides in the early game here go with that hatchery first. So things are looking pretty steady for both of our players here. We actually have JonnyREcco going for gas as well before going for the pool. So hatch gas pool, where Ziktomini has gone for his natural expansion straight into his spawning pool without any gas. That's going to give JonnyREcco potentially just a little bit more room to maneuver as far as tech is concerned. He might be able to get up to a layer slightly faster. He could try and establish some map control a little quicker with some speedlings, although the difference isn't actually that too much. And apparently JonnyREcco is the Oliver Twist Zerg, and I can actually see that happening. I really can. I can see him going up on stage at I-46, even though I didn't watch the prize ceremony, because unfortunately I wasn't in the country. I can see him walking up there, accepting his check for, I think it was something like £1,500, then looking up at the presenter. So, any last words? And him just looking up going, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" I could so see that happening. And you know what? If he wins this qualifier and goes into the last 16 of 547, he could very well make that wish come true. But in the meantime, he's going to be the first one taking that Zergling speed. We also have two queens coming out for both players at the moment, so it looks like they've taken slightly different routes to effectively the same result at this moment in time. Work supply is currently 23 to 22 in favor of JonnyREcco. And otherwise, not too much else going on other than the fact that we've got a Baneling nest go down already. So JonnyREcco is going to be grabbing them early game Banelings, and we only now have the Zergling speed reaching about a third of the way for Ziktomini. He has started his own Baneling nest as well, but JonnyREcco should be able to get Banelings out on the field just a little bit faster. Let's see if that ends up being the case. Ziktomini slightly supply blocked at the moment on 36. So JonnyREcco getting a small supply advantage. And I'll tell you what, at this stage of the game, that might actually be decisive if they decide to like heavily engage or something similar. So he needs to be super, super careful with that. Baneling nest about to complete for Ziktomini. He's getting his second gas as well. So all is looking well in this part of the world. And he's decided that he's just going to be morphing in a defensive Baneling. He does not want to try and destroy his opponent at this point. I think the supply block had a lot to do with it. He's actually on 44-44 at the moment as well, and JonnyREcco is making another big round of drones. That's actually hurting Ziktomini quite a bit, and he has opted, it looks like, I don't know if this is ad-libbed because of the supply block or whether it was his plan all along, but he's gone for a significantly earlier layer than JonnyREcco here in game number one. Ziktomini now going to be taking his third and fourth gases as well. JonnyREcco taking also his second, third, and fourth gases at more or less the same time. But Ziktomini will get a significantly earlier layer. Let's see what he chooses to do with it as JonnyREcco puts down the Roach Warren. Oh, there we go. A Zergling getting completely denied as far as the scout goes, but picking it apart for a Baneling, not bad as well. And it looks like the one Ling will be able to go in and see that the Spire is already completed for Ziktomini. But Ziktomini has put down... is it Ziktomini? Yes, it is. He's put down the Spire over here on the left-hand side of the main base. Now, did that Ling run by as it was starting? Yes, it did. So he knows about the Spire. He hasn't seen the Roach Warren, but the Spire is coming down for Ziktomini, and JonnyREcco knows about it. He's going for the Evo Chamber himself. 14 more Lings on the way, so maybe he's trying to do a bit of damage before those Mutas can come out on the field, see if he can catch his opponent off guard and get some economic damage done. Ziktomini, in the meanwhile, has some Lings moving up towards the third base location. JonnyREcco defending with a bunch of Lings himself, as well as 2 Banelings, so going to be completely fine as both sides now cement up their third bases. We have JonnyREcco going for that Infestation Pit. The Spire is about to complete for Ziktomini, using that earlier layer to his advantage to try and get that tech out a little quicker than JonnyREcco. And he's also getting Glial Reconstitution and +1 missile attack on his Roaches at the moment as well. 4 Spore Crawlers coming up from JonnyREcco, so he might be going for an all-out attack here, because he might just want the Spore Crawlers. Very nice pickoff of the Queen there towards the third base. Excellent start there from JonnyREcco, but he might just want the Spore Crawlers to deal with the Mutalisks while he sends units basically non-stop to try and take out Ziktomini elsewhere. That could potentially be his game plan there. It looks like the third base is not going to go down for Zikto. We have got the Roaches marching in. JonnyREcco coming out with Roaches of his own, and 5 Mutalisks now on the way for Ziktomini. Not the greatest number, but that's because he had a couple already out on the field. Let's see where they end up flying to. It looks like they are beelining it for the third base location at the moment, and there are already 2 Spore Crawlers there. So it's going to be quite difficult indeed. We need a little bit more creep spread, and the natural and thirds will be connected. It looks like these Mutalisks are just going to be picking apart Overlords at this moment in time. I like that decision. He might be able to get Rico temporarily supply blocked here. One Overlord goes down. No, it gets transfused. Do we have the other one getting transfused as well? Not quite so lucky. You, sir, are very, very lucky. Good transfuse there coming up from JonnyREcco, saving that Overlord, preventing himself from being over-popped. And we have got Ziktomini now at 101 supply versus the 91 of JonnyREcco, but he has got Infestors already on the way, and his supply, as far as workers are concerned, are ahead 54 to 47. And Roach Muta attack coming in now against the third base. The Infestors are not yet on the field, but here they come just in time. Infested Terrans popping out, and a second Fungal Growth on those Roaches as well. Means he should be able to win the battle on the ground. Third Fungal, it looks like an Infestor or 2 does go down, but the Mutalisks are not going to have the best time of their lives here. The Roaches will get repelled, and unfortunately these Spore Crawlers mean that the Mutas won't be able to get too much done either. So many of these Roaches on such low health at the moment, and it looks like Ziktomini barely defeating the force of JonnyREcco there, but JonnyREcco, of course, able to reinforce just that much faster, and therefore wins the battle on the ground. In the meantime, 66 to 64 workers in favor of Ziktomini at the moment. JonnyREcco immediately rectifies that. We have got Zikto going for Pathogen Glands himself now as well, and +2 attacks incoming for the Wizard Zerg. Is it going to be enough? JonnyREcco enjoying about a 15 supply lead. Let's see if he can convert that into end-game style shenanigans. Another huge round of drones coming up from JonnyREcco, really wanting to get to that magic 70+ drone mark on 3 bases, where he can mine to his little heart's content. And Ziktomini doing a little bit of the same as well. He's up to 68 workers, but JonnyREcco already up to 71. And now he's going to be getting 3 more, actually. So potentially they could go into Spine Crawls or something, or 74 drones. And he's going to be starting that Roach production as well. +2, a little bit faster for Ziktomini at the moment, but JonnyREcco is going to have way more Infestors. And those Infestors are going to have way more energy as well, as he plants down his Macro Hatchery and his Hydralisk Den. So Roach, Hydra, Infestor appears to be the order of the day here going into the late game. Zikto still trying to be as annoying as possible with these Mutalisks, and we need to see a Fungal. Yes, excellent Fungal Growth on a Mutalist. You might as well go for a second one, and a third one could end up killing them all. Oh my goodness, beautifully done there, and 3 of them are just about going to get away, taking some pot shots on the Roaches in anger, it looks like, before they fly off. But Zikto is not going to be able to get too much done there. He is, though, taking his 4th base. He does have a decent amount of map control right now with these Mutalisks, because you don't really want Infestors moving out across the middle of the map unguarded. It either means they use all their energy on trying to fungal things that attack them, then might get surrounded by lings or similar, and queens, of course, are super slow off creep. So Ziktomini, I like this move from him, using the opportunity to go and grab his 4th base location. JonnyREcco, though, thinking exactly the same thing, just a couple of seconds behind as Zikto, now also going for his Hydralisk bed. And the big advantage I can see for JonnyREcco at the moment, potentially, as far as timing is concerned, is that he has already started Grooved Spine. So Grooved Spines, of course, give those Hydralisks just a little bit of extra oomph by increasing that attack range. And that might mean he can get himself into a favorable position if he finishes Grooved Spines and engages before his opponent has the same upgrade. JonnyREcco is now actually maxed out at 200, so he might, in fact, be going to move out soon. We'll have to wait and see. Ziktomini, in the meanwhile, has started Grooved Spines of his own. He's getting Numitized Carapace as well, interestingly. So going to try and beef up his scouting potential just a little bit with those Overlords and retreat them if necessary. But Grooved Spine is now completing for JonnyREcco, and it's still a minute away for Ziktomini. We don't see JonnyREcco, though, really poised to move out against the 3rd or 4th base at the moment. So it looks like whatever potential timing this had is probably going to pass at this point with no real damage done by either side. Hydra's now going to be picking apart one of the remaining 3 mutas, and wow, they actually slither quite fast on creep, actually, so credit where it's due. They might be slow off creep, but they're certainly pretty damn fast on it, and these remaining 2 mutas are going to be able to get 2 drones, but then the Hydras end up taking them out. So that frees up the supply to go into this Roach Hydra Infestor composition from both sides going into the late game here. The +1 armor, once again, is slightly quicker for Ziktomini, so he'll have a temporary advantage in upgrades. But not for that long, as both sides are now maxed out, and they're really going to have to start looking for a preferable engagement. Let's see what they have. 40 to 35 Roaches in favor of Ziktomini at the moment, but 17 to 11 Hydras in favor of JonnyREcco. This could really go either way, because once you factor fungal growths in, anything is kind of possible. One Infestor trying to move up the ramp to see what's going on. JonnyREcco thinking the better of it at the last second. And we have got 2 more expansions coming out from JonnyREcco. So he's saying, look, if you're not going to attack, I'm going to expand absolutely everywhere. What are you going to do about it? Ziktomini actually sending a small amount of Roaches in towards a 3rd base location of JonnyREcco to see if he can try and pick something off. JonnyREcco should be able to stop this just fine indeed. The threat of Infestors is just too much. Ziktomini's going to have to back off there. But it looks like his main army is going to come in towards the 4th base location. Zikto looking to try and engage here. A couple of Infestors going on at the front, and we have got some Brofester hit squad from JonnyREcco into the natural expansion of Zikto. So that's going to get damage while this main fight is going on. Infested Terrans coming out everywhere. It's a beach ball party here on Cloud Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody is invited. The Hydras, though, for JonnyREcco are a little bit more exposed than Ziktomini, and I can't help but feel in the main fight, Zikto is going to be able to take this. It looks like that upgrade advantage temporarily at least did help out a bit, but a lot of stuff got killed in the natural as well. The problem is his main army is still very much alive. The 4th base location of JonnyREcco is going to go down. Can he preserve the 3rd base? 70 to 58 workers in favor of JonnyREcco, but Ziktomini, as it currently stands, does have the larger standing army, and JonnyREcco moving in with a huge reinforcement of Roaches. It's honey badgering it for the Infestors right now. That was a great move from JonnyREcco, and I think that buys him the time he needs to stabilize here. He's got a good concave on the bottom of this ramp. Ziktomini trying his best to move back forward, but there will be no room to maneuver for the Wizard Zerg. And while JonnyREcco got his 4th taken out there, the 5th and 6th hatcheries are now up and running, and he does have a drone advantage over Ziktomini as well. So it looks like our blue team, ladies and gentlemen, is currently enjoying an advantage here in game number 1. Now we have got +2 armor coming in for JonnyREcco. Let me just quickly double check to see if it's coming for Ziktomini. It has not. So JonnyREcco will be the one with the potential upgrade advantage. Excellent fungal growth from the high ground there. Gets a 2nd one as well, and the Infestor is going to go down in addition to those Roaches here at the 4th base location. Just a really nice set of fungals there from JonnyREcco, and he might be looking to push into the 4th at the moment because Zikto has not actually taken any additional bases. So JonnyREcco is able to move to the top left location. He's able to move to the 3 o'clock position, and we have more Infestor hit squads coming out here. Whole bunch of Infested Terrans moving in towards the 3rd base location. I'd love to see him target down that Spore Crawler. It's not going to happen, though. We have the main engagement coming in at the 4th base. Great fungal growth from Ziktomini. Where are the Infestors from JonnyREcco? He needs to be so careful here. We just need 2 more fungals, and oh no, they are left high and dry there. And I think the fungals from Zikto means he should be able to clean this up easy peasy. JonnyREcco having to retreat there. not attacking with his entire army. We do have some infested Terrans popping behind the mineral line at the 4th base, killing off some drones. But the army getting destroyed is really what's hurting JonnyREcco at the moment. Ziktomini now going to be moving out once again towards the 4th base location of JonnyREcco. But does he actually know about the 5th and 6th bases? No, he doesn't. He just hasn't been as map aware. And this is the kind of thing that loses people games in the long run, even though it feels like you're outplaying your opponent, because they're simply on significantly more bases than you. And look at this, JonnyREcco remaxing so quickly. Ziktomini must be scratching his head, wondering what the hell he has to do at this point, because he's won a couple of key engagements, but JonnyREcco just keeps coming back bigger and stronger. And those extra hatcheries, those extra larvae, even if he's not mining from them, are what is making the difference at this moment in time. 197 supply to 135. More infested Terrans coming from the 4th base, picking apart that hatchery as well now. And Ziktomini is looking like he is in a world of trouble here. +3 attack on the way for JonnyREcco as well. He's going up to 2-2 upgrades, and we still have 2-1 from Ziktomini. So this is looking pretty dire for our Western Wolves player here in game number 1. He will have another game to redeem himself, but it's going to take a lot, frankly, for Zikto to win the game from this point onwards. JonnyREcco just did a great job of constantly expanding. Zikto now sees the base in the top left position, trying to take an alternate 4th base himself above his main, but JonnyREcco has decided enough is enough. I'm just going to face crush this. 181 to 116 supply. Those infestors are looking awfully vulnerable as well. The army gets crushed once again. Ziktomini desperately trying to stay afloat, but not able to do so. GG, and JonnyREcco takes game number 1.